Oberleutnant Kluge, is it not?
Yes?
My name is de Villefort.
Oh, yes, yes, of course.
I just wanted to thank you personally for returning my chess set. You may remember that it had been, shall we say, borrowed by the soldier who was billeted on me.
Of course I remember. I'm glad to have been of service to you. Please, sit down.
Thank you.
Sturmbannführer Reinecke.
It's not that it was of any real value, but it would be difficult to replace today, and I do use it quite often.
So, you were a chess player, Mr. de Villefort?
Oh, no great attainment, I assure you, but it is a great interest.
It is indeed.
The only form of warfare that can be regarded as civilized. My father used to say he was one of the founders of the inter-island tournaments here. That was quite an island event. Held in this hotel, in fact, in this very room.
And these tournaments between the islands, were the events of some importance?
Oh, yes, indeed. I won't claim that all the island stopped work to watch. It was of necessity parochial, but the tournament was well attended and reported, and well, I think that pride in one's island would shine for a little while.
Even with those who did not play chess?
Oh, yes, so it seemed. As a matter of fact, it usually fell to me to organise the Guernsey side of things, and the finals also, and I used to look forward to that. I'm sorry, I intrude. Thank you again, Oberleutnant.
They don't stay to talk very long. Not good for their local reputation, I suppose. Can't blame them.
Sooner or later, they will have to realize that we are here and mean to stay.
It's a pity we can't revive things like this chess tournament. That's the sort of thing that might bring us together. Good for morale. Less boredom, less crime. I might talk to the commandant about it. Before the war, there was an inter-island chess tournament of some importance and interest. It occurred to me that we might revive it and open it to our own servicemen, both officers and ranks. And if enough was made of it, it could be worth a great deal as a morale builder.
I hope you weren't thinking of a confrontation, were you, Otto? Germany versus the Channel Islands, I couldn't agree to that.
No, sir, no, of course not. But a tournament where occupier might meet on a purely personal level with occupied, where it makes no difference if you're British or French or German, could only be to our advantage. It might even help us to integrate the civilians and the military in a way which we have not yet, with respect, managed. I think the key to the whole thing would be to allow it to continue as an inter-island championship.
That's an interesting idea. Thank you, Otto.
Shall I ask Mr. de Villefort to come and see you, sir?
They used to play quite a lot of chess on the islands prior to the war, sir. Inter-island championships, island tournaments. I'm told they were events of some importance.
And you think that if we permitted a resumption of the tournament, it would be psychologically to our advantage?
I do, Herr General.
By substituting a game of chess as a focus for their aggressions against us. It's an interesting idea, Reinecke.
I was wondering, sir, if there might not be some additional merit in taking it one step further.
How do you mean?
If we were to participate.
The German forces?
Those amongst us specially qualified and interested.
Reinecke, what are you maneuvering me into?
It would be an enormous boost to our morale if there were some German participation.
Even if we lost?
The possibility would not arise, sir, if you were to play.
I thought that's what you were going to say. If we won, would not the islanders feel resentment?
I'm sure not, sir. They would have been worsted in fair contest. They would feel only respect, I should say.
It's a very challenging proposition. You think I should rise to the occasion, do you?
There's not one of us better qualified, sir.
So you say, so you say. Very well. I shall.
Very sporting, sir.
You better put the commandant in the picture.
It might be more diplomatic if he were to hear it directly from you, sir.
Yes, you're right. Very well. I'll tell him.
Herr General?
You a chess man, Reinecke?
Oh, I play reasonably well for an amateur.
I shall require a second if I'm to enter seriously. Perhaps you would consider it. Unless, of course, you wish to enter on your own account.
I would be honored, sir.
Mr. de Villefort, how kind of you to come. Please sit down, would you?
Thank you.
Do you smoke?
No, I don't, thank you.
Well, I asked you to come and see me because of a chance conversation you had the other evening with an officer of mine, Oberleutnant Kluge. Kluge tells me that before the war, much was made here of the inter-island chess tournament.
Oh, yes, indeed, Colonel. It was one of the highlights of our calendar and aroused a great deal of interest, not to say partisanship.
How would the islanders react if I were to permit, to encourage even, such a return to normality? Would it be welcomed?
Oh, I'm sure it'd be greatly appreciated. I mean, as you say, it does imply a return to normality, and yes, I think it'd be a step in the right direction.
Good. Now, what would be the reaction if the tournament were to be open not only to civilians, but also to the occupation forces?
Well, I'm not quite sure, sir. I mean, I can see that it could bring us together in happier circumstances, but the chess committee, I'm not quite sure.
I don't think the chess committee could raise any real objection, do you? I've been able to obtain a copy of the rules of your association. And, you know, I find that most of my men fulfill the residence qualifications. Do they not?
Yes, I imagine they do, yes.
Well, then it could be managed, surely, without infringement.
Yes, I suppose it could, sir, yes.
In that case, since you are in agreement, in principle, shall we consider detail for a moment? Now, I gather that the time-honoured procedure is to hold the elimination heats in both Jersey and Guernsey, only the finalists coming together in one centre.
Yes, that's quite correct, sir. Guernsey usually hosting the finals in one or other of the larger hotels.
Excellent.
But, of course, there is the problem of the contestants being on different islands.
Oh, that is no longer a problem. The Commander-in-Chief is greatly in favour of the plan. He is prepared to grant restricted movement between the islands. I was given to understand that you were actually the organizer of these events.
Oh, yes, I've done it for 7 years. Well, until the outbreak of war, that is.
Are you prepared to continue in that capacity?
Oh, well,
I would consider it a friendly gesture.
Well, in that case, of course, Commandant.
Thank you. Well, shall we then aim at the first Thursday in October? It is normally Thursday, is it not?
It is indeed, sir. Yes.
And I should think the Hotel Normandie would be the most suitable venue. Now, is there any reason why the semi-finals should not also be held in Guernsey?
No, it's a little irregular. I mean, according
Regularity must bow to military convenience, Mr. de Villefort. I'm sure you understand.
Yes, I do indeed, sir, yes.
It seems always to be the same three people. Raymond Le Galley for Guernsey, Clive Richmond and Arthur Gardner for Jersey. Obviously, on past form, we must assume that they again will provide the stiffest opposition.
If they enter.
We must anticipate that they will. Very well. Get on to Hauptsturmführer Vetter in Jersey. Enlist his help with Richmond and Gardner. I want all available biographical data and without them knowing. Understood?
Yes, Sturmbannführer.
Medical history, financial background, pre-war activities, domestic situation, anything at all. I will be the judge of its importance. A comprehensive dossier.
Very good, sir.
And tell Vetter that I personally require it as a matter of urgency.
It will be arranged, Sturmbannführer.
When that is in hand, address your attention to Le Galley here on Guernsey. And Kleist, I want the information by the end of the week.
Oh, sure I'm not in the way or anything.
No. Good heavens, no. Here, come and have a seat.
Thanks. Nice and cosy.
Yes. Yeah, we do just about everything in here these days, except sleep. Well, now, George, tell me, is this visit medical, social, or something else?
Oh, you've heard about the chess tournament?
Yes.
I'm getting a little bit worried about it. You see, this German participation has placed an entirely new emphasis on the whole thing.
You mean it's become a sort of them and us situation?
Exactly. Whether we like it or not, it has become Germans versus us.
So we've just got to win, haven't we?
Right. Now, the Germans have permitted me to phone Albert Guppy in Jersey. He's a Jersey organizer on my opposite number.
Yeah.
Now, Albert tells me that, in his opinion, they only have one real contender, and that's Clive Richmond. Well, he's a good enough player, but he's certainly not in Muller's class.
Muller? General Muller?
Oh, yes, he's entered. Well, didn't you know?
What?
He was runner-up in the Berlin Championships, 38, I think.
Oh, good heavens. Well, he'll be the Guernsey finalist, won't he? I mean, our chap Legale is no match for that.
No. Of course, there's always Arthur Gardner.
Yes, he was a superb chess player, but...
Exactly. Albert tells me he's now virtually retired from social life. He's become something of a recluse, apparently.
It doesn't surprise me in the least.
Well, you always knew him much better than I did.
Ah, so that's why you're here.
The islands need Arthur Gardner, Philip. What do you think?
Oh, this endless queuing. Hello, George.
Hello, dear.
Now, do sit down,
Thank you.
please. Well,
Olive, George here wants me to try to get in touch with Arthur Gardner. See if we can persuade him to go into this blasted chess tournament.
well, I'm sure Louise would be only too delighted to get him out from under her feet. No, Louise seconds for him. They could come and stay here with us.
Oh, well, if you could put them up, that'd be marvellous.
Yes, well, we don't know he's going to do it yet, do we?
I'd be very grateful if you'd give it a try, Philip. Please. Better get back to the office.
Oh, won't you stay for a cup of...
What?
mere tea?
No, thank you. It's very kind of you, but I better be on my way. Thanks. Bye.
Oh, sorry, George. I'll see you out.
Remember me to Mary.
Yes, I will. Yes, of course I will.
Haven't seen George for ages.
Oh, I see him now and again. He's on several subcommittees.
Not too keen on the idea of Arthur Gardner, huh?
Well, not entirely, no.
Somaliland or somewhere, wasn't it?
It was Ethiopia, yes.
What exactly did happen?
Well, they were there at the time of the Italian takeover. Some very odd things happened, and poor old Arthur had a hell of a time. He was under house arrest, and the Africans were out for sport as well as getting at anyone who had the misfortune to be white, and not to put too fine a point on it. They broke him. He came back in a terrible state.
You'd never know with all that pompous nonsense of his.
No, that's just a front which he hides behind. No, I think the real problem is that under pressure, I think Arthur might crack.
Oh, surely not just over a game.
Yeah.
It would be nice, wouldn't it, Philip, to see two new faces on the island? Well, he could always refuse. Might do him good.
You're absolutely right, aren't you? All right, I'll drop him a line. Yes. Yes, that would interest me very considerably. What is his name? Ernst Steiger? I will send Kleist to meet him. Perhaps you would also give him the dossiers. Thank you, Hauptsturmführer. You've done well. You will report to Hauptsturmführer Vetter on Jersey. He will give you the papers. You will meet a man, Ernst Steiger, whom you will bring back.
I do not know the name.
No, he's not of the Waffen-SS. He's an interrogator.
The Geheime Staatspolizei.
Yes. You will travel by boat. Air transport is booked out, and I don't want any official record of your visit. Understood?
So.
One other thing. I have decided to give the forthcoming chess tournament full coverage in the German press. It will be excellent propaganda if it is handled properly. That means via the right channels. Contact Leider in the press office in Paris. Follow it up in writing with copies to my desk clerk and the commandant's office, and ensure that the commandant's copy is slipped into the file unseen. Is that clear?
Of course, Sturmbannführer.
Come in, both of you. Here we go.
Thank you, Philip.
Olive! Olive, they're here!
Oh, Louise! Oh, my good to see you.
It's very civil of you to put us up. I hope it's not a damn nuisance.
No, it's a tonic, I promise you. We haven't had visitors since...
No, give us your suitcase. I'll take them up, show you your rooms, then we can all have a jolly good gossip.
Awful boat trip.
Yeah, I can imagine.
There used to be quite a decent bar on that tub.
Oh, dinner, for want of a better word, will be in half an hour.
Don't play on anything special, will you?
You're joking. Oh, it is nice.
I don't think we need concern ourselves with the others. This man Gardner is the threat.
I've read Gardner's papers, Sturmbannführer, and I observed him on the boat.
Well?
He's overstressed. The blade that is bent once too often becomes brittle. Next time it will snap.
This trouble of his in Ethiopia, it would be difficult in the time to obtain the full facts.
It's not necessary. It's enough merely that he knows his weakness and that someone is coming to bend him again.
Hauptsturmführer Vetter saw that this was a matter somewhat outside the ordinary terms of the Waffen-SS, which is, of course, why he suggested you. It is necessary that one treads with a certain delicacy vis-à-vis the Kommandanteur.
I shall not embarrass you with the Wehrmacht.
I hope not. Nevertheless, such embarrassment would be little in comparison with, shall we say, an unfavorable outcome to the tournament.
It's understood.
Kleist will help you to whatever extent you need.
May I suggest that no action be taken till after the semi-finals?
Yes. Yes, that seems sensible. It will give you an opportunity for further inspection of your prey, Steiger.
Come along, Arthur. You must settle down. You're playing Clive Richmond tomorrow. It's not just a formality. He's a good player.
Oh, so tell many a time. But he relies too much on the French defence. There. That's what Clive would do. Now, can't you win something? No, I've been thinking of that Jerry fellow, Mulhouse.
Muller, dear.
Oh, yes, Muller. It wasn't Frankfurt in '37. That was Petrov.
No, it was Berlin in '38.
Whatever it was, you sure, Lou?
Yes, I'm quite sure.
Opening's a bit limited, I remember.
No, Arthur, it's a weak middle game.
Yeah, Bob Vinnick type, I shouldn't wonder. Yeah, I thought you'd spot the clearance. Now, if you can get the bishop out of the way...
Like this, and then you take this knight, then bishop takes rook, and later I'll win this knight. Oh, you really shouldn't smoke like that, Arthur. It can't be good for you. And you said the cigarettes were quite awful.
Just want to go back and rethink that. Do you mind?
No, if it'll help you, Arthur. I think you should defer this knight move. Perhaps this pawn here...
Well, damn it, woman, do you have to keep butting in? How the hell can I think the game through with these constant interruptions?
You have lost on time, I think, Mr. Legale. Checkmate.
You've done it again, Arthur.
Well done, Clive.
You sharpened your game enormously. Great pleasure. Oh.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the results of the semi-finals, as you have just seen, are for Guernsey, General Muller, and for Jersey, Arthur Gardner. Now, the inter-island finals will be held here in this room in 2 weeks' time. That's Thursday, the 18th. So again, our congratulations to the winners and our thanks and commiserations to the gallant losers.
Congratulations. Well done.
It will be a fine game, I think.
I hope so, sir.
Would the Herr General permit an observation?
Of course.
I would venture to suggest that your middle game is somewhat weak, sir. It is in that area that Gardner is strongest, if I am to believe reports.
Did you watch any of his play, Ronica?
Yes, sir. Yes, quite closely.
Good. Then this evening you can instruct me in Gardner's thinking. And now, Richter, you wish to say something?
Oh, yes, Herr General, we can wait until...
No, Ronica, perhaps you will join me again in this office at 2000.
Of course, Herr General.
Sit down, Richter.
Thank you, sir. It really is about the tournament that I wish to speak, sir. I don't know if you're aware, but it has engendered a great deal of feeling. It has ceased to be an event merely for those interested in the game. It's attracting unprecedented attention, both among the islanders and our own Garys, and it is beginning to worry me just a little.
Oh, come, Richter. How can one seriously be concerned about such a harmless affair? You approved the project yourself and fell in with my suggestion? I really cannot see any
With
reason.
great respect, sir, it is no longer a purely local affair. It is simply a case of Germany versus the Channel Islands. Now, I regard that as potentially dangerous and inflammatory.
What exactly are you suggesting, Richter?
Again, sir, with great respect, I would ask you to withdraw from the final game. But you could allow the defeated semi-finalist to take your place, and you could always plead that pressure of duty had...
Stand down simply because one of my subordinates considers it might be embarrassing if his commanding officer loses the game?
No, sir. It's the opposite that disturbs me. I consider it would be bad for island morale if you were to win. The spirits are low, irritation is running high, and I would not wish to inflame a situation and so find ourselves forced to act against the directive of High Command.
Now, Best, are you implying that I'm not following my orders in the administration of these islands?
Not at all, sir, not at all. I
Then
merely
you
wish
would
to
do
warn
well
you.
not to imply criticism of High Command, or of your own commanding officer.
I had not intended either, Herr General. Forgive me if it sounded that way.
Hello. Well, Arthur, the finals are not far away. You played a good game against Clive Richmond. Not a perfect one.
I was right about him. Always impulsive. He grabbed that bishop too quickly.
He seemed a trifle tired. Is he still suffering from his back trouble?
Well, how the hell should I know? I haven't seen him for 3 years till we met on that wretched boat. You're just trying to make excuses for him.
I like Clive Richmond.
Haven't forgotten him yet, eh? Fancy trotting out that old Lopez move. Haven't seen that given an airing since the chucker in Addis Ababa in 34. That shipping fellow, Cardew?
Carstairs, dear, Basil Carstairs.
Oh, ignore it.
Well, of course we can't. I'll go. Well, you finish setting up the board.
Oh.
Arthur?
Oh, who's this?
May I see your papers?
Well, look, we've done nothing wrong. This is not our house.
Arthur Rupert Gardner.
Yes?
You were the manager of a mine in Ethiopia.
Yes. Yes, a mineral mine in Wakega. Why?
Why did you leave Ethiopia, Mr. Gardner?
Why did I leave? Now, what's that got to do
The
with
answer,
anything?
please.
My contract was terminated.
Why was it terminated?
Look, what is all this nonsense? What gives you the right to come
If
barging
you do
in
not
here?
answer my questions here, I shall have to take you back to Jersey to the Gestapo office. Now, in what circumstances was your employment in Ethiopia terminated, Mr. Gardner?
The Italians made it impossible for me to run the mine.
That seems a very strange thing for them to do. Why should they do that?
Well, when they took possession of the mine, they impounded the funds, seized the company's equipment, and put me under house arrest.
For 18 months.
Yes.
Why?
Why?
Yes, why?
Well, for non-cooperation.
18 months for non-cooperation. I have a report, Mr. Gardner, from the Italian authorities that you are charged with criminal acts against the Italian military government, including embezzlement of funds belonging to the Wakega Mineral Company.
But that is absolutely untrue. Now, this is monstrous. I shall complain of victimization.
You'll soon have a chance of presenting your case, Mr. Gardner.
May one ask to whom?
To the Sturmbannführer, Mrs. Gardner.
Are you arresting me?
In view of the circumstances, we're prepared to leave the matter until after the tournament. You'll be hearing from me again.
I don't know. Perhaps I should withdraw from the tournament. It might be for the best.
Best for whom? I don't think we should just submit, Arthur. Surely we have certain rights, even in times like these. You mustn't let them bully you.
I'm sorry, my
Oh,
dear.
sorry is just a word. If you'd stood up to them in Wakega, things might have been different.
Well, I did at the beginning. You know that. It's just that week after week of being kicked around, they wouldn't let me sleep. But I couldn't see you. You weren't there.
Arthur, I was in Addis Ababa trying to get the authorities to do something about the Italians and those wretched tribesmen. I couldn't get back to you, Arthur. How often do you have to be told things?
It's just 14 weeks of beatings and ill treatment. Take their toll.
Arthur, let's forget this nonsense. Now, come on. Let's get back to the game.
Oh.
Come along.
Will he crack?
In my opinion, he will. And quickly.
Not too quickly. We require him to play the games, merely to be too nervous to play with any concentration.
I will approach him once more, before the finals.
A lot depends on this Steiger.
Don't be afraid. His mind will be on other things, I guarantee it.
The bailiff. Good afternoon, sir. Very kind of you to come on. Good afternoon. Arthur.
It's all right, Arthur. It's all right.
I need some coffee. I need coffee before I can play.
All right, Arthur. I'll see what I can do. I'll bring it to you in the restaurant.
This is outrageous.
Save your bluster for others, Mr. Gardner. On me it is wasted.
What do you want? I've told you all I can.
I've come to tell you something, Mr. Gardner. The business in Wakega. After the tournament, you'll be going to Italy.
To Italy? What for?
Well, to answer the charges against you.
But they're untrue. I told you there's nothing in them.
So you say.
Well, all I did was refuse to cooperate when the Italians seized the mine.
When you get to Italy, you can tell them so.
Well, will they believe me?
Who knows?
And what if they don't?
Then, Mr. Gardner, I suspect you are in for a rather unhappy time.
But my wife can tell him it's not true. She knows she was there.
Oh, Mr. Gardner, you must face the music alone. Your wife will stay here.
I can't. I just can't. I'm trembling all over. My hands are sweating. My mind won't clear. I keep thinking of those terrible weeks.
Arthur, this is Guernsey. It's 1942. All that was 6 years ago. Now, put it out of your mind till this is over.
I can't. It's no good, Lou. I just can't.
Oh, it's all right, my dear. It's all right. It doesn't matter. You don't have to. Come in.
Just came to wish you luck.
Philip, Arthur will not be participating in the tournament.
All right. All right, I'd better go and tell them.
No. No, that would mean that Muller would win by default. No, we must have a tournament, Philip. We all know this. Oh, Clive Richmond has already gone back to Jersey. Philip, I'm down in the book as Arthur's second. If it is agreeable to the organisers and the Guernsey contender, I will play on behalf of my husband.
Oh, well, I'll speak to them, of course.
There is a precedent, Jules Cabet in 1928. I do play, I assure you.
All right, well, I'll go and have a word with George, and then I think I'll run Arthur home.
Thank you.
Forgive me,
Now,
Lou.
there's nothing to forgive. I love you very dearly. And I understand. Now, I suggest that you go and sit in the back of Philip's car until the first break, and then he can drive you home. Arthur, wish me luck.
Come to see if you need anything. Philip told me about Arthur. You're going to take over, Louise.
If they let me.
Can't see why they should refuse.
Because I'm a woman?
They'll be even more sure of themselves.
I'm just beginning to realize why Arthur smokes. Will you join me?
Yes, Louise. I will.
Yeah.
What on earth?
Louise and I are simply enjoying a quiet cigarette together. Well, is she?
Well, is she what?
Permitted to play.
Oh, yes, that's absolutely agreed. Yes, old General Muller, I think, is a little bit disappointed that he's not going to fight Arthur, but I tried to reassure him. Now, I think our supporters are going to be just a little bit dismayed. It's no reflection on you, Louise. They're just counting on Arthur's reputation.
I imagine they think a woman couldn't possibly do as well, whatever her qualifications. Well, Louise, you have a challenge from many quarters.
Yes, it does seem to look that way, doesn't it? Oh, he's a horrid things. I can't think what he sees in them. Well, I suppose suppose we better get on with it.
Mr. Bailiff, ladies and gentlemen, I have an announcement to make. Mr. Arthur Gardner, the Jersey finalist, is unable to play today. But not wishing the championship to go by default, Arthur Gardner's second, his wife, Mrs. Louise Gardner, will take his place. Now, the committee and Major General Muller, the Guernsey contender, have agreed to this substitution. So, the championship final will now take place. These games will be played in accordance with the rules laid down by the International Chess Federation. The final will consist of 2 games. A deciding third game will be played if necessary. The time limit is 24 moves per hour each. If a game is unfinished after 3 hours, it will be adjudicated. Now, as usual, I'll ask our audience to contain themselves and maintain a respectful silence throughout the play. There'll be a 15-minute interval between the games. Are you in accord? Play.
Did he say who he was from?
Oh, he mentioned the Sturmbannführer.
That's the SS rank of Major. There's only one of them on the island. Arthur, I take it the whole case is without foundation. There's absolutely nothing to it.
Well, there was trouble, but I had no hand in it. I did nothing wrong.
Doesn't it occur to you as very strange that the whole thing should have taken so long? I mean that it should have been brought to the surface now, after such a long time? And you say it is a complete fabrication, the embezzlement?
Yes.
You know what it is, don't you? It is a devious contrivance by that bastard Reinecker, deliberately calculated to make it inevitable that you would either lose the game or chuck it. I'm going to inform the bailiff. Expose the whole thing. Can't continue.
No. No, please. I don't want you to do that. Louise is really very good. She's much better than me. It's just that she doesn't play in public. Hardly at all, even at home, except to coach me. I suppose I'm the one experienced in match play, but she has really studied the game. She knows it backwards. If she could win this tournament, it would be the first real triumph of her life. Give her the chance, I beg you.
Of course, Arthur. All the same, I shall go and write a short note to the Commandant. Tell him what's been going on. He must know.
Well, suppose he's in with them.
Oh, no, don't worry, not Richter, no. He's all right.
Check. Checkmate next move, I think, Mrs. Gardner?
Yes. Well done, your game. Against Miss Mention, Moscow, 1935. Oh, it's a splendid attack, and I'd completely forgotten it. Well done, Joe.
Thank you.
Philip, is Arthur all right?
Yes, he's fine. Don't worry. I took him home as soon as he's home.
Poor Arthur. It gave him a terrible time, Philip. Far worse than I hope you can imagine. It's a long time ago.
Is General Muller a worthy opponent?
Oh, yes, he's a splendid player. This is the real thing, I can assure you. Oh, Arthur would have so enjoyed it, and won. I'm quite certain of it.
What about you?
Well, he's drawn first blood. But, he has a weak middle game. Rather typical German thinking by the book. Actually, I rather like him.
Reinecker's having a field day. He seems to have it well covered.
What will he do if the Commander-in-Chief loses? I wonder what the odds are on that happening. Okay?
I'm not a betting man, sir.
But if you were?
Evens.
Five minutes, please, everybody.
Check.
You will be too much ahead.
No doubt, sir. Very pleased with your champion.
Yes, very. I wonder if you'd find time to read this.
Yes, of course. Excuse me.
Checkmate.
Yes, thank you. The title goes to a most worthy opponent. Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my proud privilege to declare that the contestant from Jersey is the winner of this tournament, Mrs. Gardner. The organising committee decided that this being unusual both in circumstance and manner, and really because we had little alternative, that the award should be in kind, most likely to be appreciated by the winner. Not a clock, not a cup, not even a rosette, but 1 full pound of real coffee, given by 2 anonymous donors. May you and your husband enjoy it with all our heartfelt pride and sense of achievement.
Thank you. Thank you.
Come in.
You wish to see me, Herr Oberst?
I sent for you, Sturmführer Reiniger, because of that. I assume it's true.
The purpose...
I can guess the purpose. You have threatened and attempted to suborn a civilian upon a trumped-up matter. Not only is the prestige of the German army involved, it also concerns the honor and dignity of the military commander. Thanks to the debacle, your journalists have nothing to report. I can therefore contain the matter and try to play it down. I only hope that Dr. Martel has a stronger sense of fair play than you seem to have. He might absolve the rest of us from your own peculiar set of values.
I regret the embarrassment, Herr Oberst, but in war there is no such thing as a game.
Thank you, you may go.
Herr Oberst.